The old man hands the man a gun, ordering him to shoot his beloved pet dog. The man hesitates, raising the weapon, but looking into the dog's innocent eyes, he finds he simply cannot bring himself to pull the trigger. The old man warns him that failing to follow orders will result in complete failure for the entire agent assessment, rendering all his previous efforts useless. He recalls the grueling days of training, with the dog always by his side. In the end, his heart fails him, and he reluctantly returns the gun. But suddenly, the man turns the gun on the old man, his eyes flashing with determination. Just then, a gunshot rings out from the next room, shattering the tension. "The girl next to you has more guts than you," the old man remarked. Because of his compassion for the dog, he is disqualified from becoming an agent. He returns home with his pet, reflecting on recent events as if they were a dream. Eggsy was just a neighborhood hoodlum until he met Harry, a former comrade of his late father. Discovering that his father was an exceptional Kingsman agent, Eggsy is offered the chance to become a new candidate. However, faced with the offer from the man in the suit, he refuses without a moment's hesitation. He doesn't believe in gifts falling from the sky. Just then, a group of thugs arrives looking for revenge. Harry initially tries to use diplomacy, advising them to back off. "You'd best not meddle in other people's business," they sneer. "Old man, he's not kidding, run," Eggsy warns. Harry, however, doesn't say a word. He calmly walks through the crowd, heads to the door, and casually locks it from the inside. He doesn't intend to let anyone leave. The provocative action infuriates the thug, but Harry remains unbothered. He strikes first, using a glass from the table like a projectile, hitting the ringleader dead on. The sight leaves the entire group stunned. They quickly recover and rush him in unison. Harry effortlessly dodges their attacks. Even when they swarm him, he handles them easily with nothing but a black umbrella, every move executed with the poise of a true gentleman. A large man tries to sneak a beer bottle to strike from behind, but Harry immediately knocks him out with a jolt from the umbrella handle. In less than 2.5 minutes, all the thugs are left sprawling on the floor. The ringleader regains consciousness and tries to fire back, but Harry quickly opens the umbrella to shield himself from the bullets. Every shot is blocked with ease, leaving the gunman dumbfounded. Harry twirls his umbrella, activating a spinning mechanism that sends his opponent flying before he collapses. As the bar owner prepares to call the police, Harry simply twists his wristwatch. A tranquilizer dart strikes, and the owner drops instantly. Witnessing everything, Eggsy is completely won over by this elegant, suit-wearing gentleman. He agrees to fulfill his father's legacy and become an elite agent. The two head to the fitting room of a tailor shop. Harry lightly touches the mirror. Once the fingerprint scanner confirms his identity, the floor begins to descend slowly. "How deep is this place?" "Very deep." On the way down, Harry explains that the Kingsman organization consists of 13 members, an ancient and mysterious secret society. Each agent bears a code name from the legend of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. They owe allegiance to no nation, nor are they influenced by politics or bureaucracy. It is an organization dedicated purely to justice. Soon, they arrive at the deep underground level. A high-speed train awaits. It is the specialized transport for the Kingsman organization. In just a few short seconds, the train travels thousands of kilometers, taking them to another secret base. Eggsy sees the power of this organization firsthand. 8 other candidates are also there, participating in the selection process. The trainer, Merlin, announces that among the 9 of them, only one will be chosen to fill the position of the late Kingsman agent, Lancelot. He hands each of them a body bag, warning that this interview is no joke, it is a test where lives can be lost. However, the other candidates dismiss Merlin's words as standard military scare tactics. At night, water suddenly begins to leak into the dormitory. Eggsy, barely asleep, is jolted awake by the freezing cold. He sits up to turn on the light, only to realize the water has already reached the beds. At this rate, the entire room will soon be submerged. The group falls into a panic. A candidate named Charlie suggests using the toilet pipes to breathe. No sooner are the words spoken than the water level swallows them. Everyone swims toward the restroom, quickly dismantling the shower hoses to use as snorkels. Refusing to just sit and wait, Eggsy swims toward the door, trying to force it open to save himself. But under the massive pressure of the water, the door is as immovable as if it were welded shut. Seeing the situation, Eggsy swims back toward the other candidates. They are all terrified, assuming he is coming to steal their air supply. Unexpectedly, Eggsy swims right past them, heading toward the glass partition at the back. He raises his fist and punches the glass, blow after blow. Merlin, watching from the outside, is pleased and steps out of the control room. Having spent enough time in police stations to know his surroundings, Eggsy quickly realized the glass was likely two-way. It was a gamble, but luckily, his bet paid off. Yet, Merlin does not show any joy. In his eyes, apart from Eggsy, no one else met the requirements. They were all too focused on their own survival, forgetting the most important rule, the survival of their teammate. For an organization that prizes teamwork above all else, this is a fatal flaw. It was clear that the initial warning was no bluff. After several rounds of theoretical exams and shooting practice, only 6 remain for the high-altitude parachute jump test. At first, everyone assumes this is just a routine training jump, but Merlin's next words send a chill down their spines. "If any of you don't have a parachute, what will you do? The question silences the group, plunging them into absolute fear. No one knows if they are the unlucky one. As they fall at terminal velocity, Eggsy forces himself to stay calm. He proposes that they pair up and hold hands. Only by sticking together can all 6 hope to survive. But as they near the ground, a panicked candidate pulls his chute early, leaving the others in an odd-numbered group. Even so, Eggsy doesn't lose his nerve. He quickly adjusts his strategy, instructing the others to form a circle. They hold hands firmly, ready to deploy their chutes one by one. Eggsy understands that this test is about teamwork. Only by acting as one can they ensure everyone survived. When 30 seconds from the ground, they begin to deploy their chutes in sequence. Finally, only Eggsy and a girl named Joshi remain. He grabs her tightly, and as the chute opens, they land safely, escaping danger by the skin of their teeth. Following this trial, 3 more candidates are eliminated. Even though Eggsy passes, he cannot help but feel resentful deep down. Why was he the one made to jump without a parachute? Was his life worth less than the others? Merlin simply tells him to put away his pathetic sense of pride. He then reaches over and pulls the ripcord on Eggsy's back. It turns out his parachute had been functional all along. This was the reward for overcoming the challenge. Every survivor is gifted a puppy as a companion. Eggsy chooses the smallest one, a tiny pug. Soon, they move on to the next test. The task this time sounds incredibly simple. By any means necessary, they just need to lure the woman in the photograph into a room. But what they don't expect is for the seemingly easy mission to go wrong halfway through. As the 3 of them arrive at the bar and prepare to approach her, they suddenly feel dizzy. Their drinks had been drugged without them even noticing. When Eggsy wakes up, he finds himself tied tightly to a train track. In the distance, the roar of a train whistle grows louder. The train is barreling toward them. A man in black demands Eggsy reveal his identity and the purpose of their mission. He even insists on knowing who is behind their organization. The man threatens that because the other 2 talked too much, they were crushed into a pulp by the train. The train draws nearer, but Eggsy remains adamant that he knows nothing. He refuses to utter a single word of betrayal. Is your organization really worth dying for? I'm risking my life for your ancestors, not for the organization. But just as the train roars past, Harry suddenly appears before him, and Eggsy is safe and sound, completely unharmed. It turns out this challenge was a test of loyalty to the organization. Meanwhile, Charlie, out of pure fear, had spilled everything. In the end, only Eggsy and Joshi passed this stage. As his sponsor, Harry is extremely pleased with Eggsy's recent performance. He takes Eggsy to a high-end suit tailor shop. While it looks like a shop for luxury suits, it is actually a secret arsenal for the organization. From poison-tipped blades in shoes to a fountain pen that can release toxins remotely. There's even a ring capable of delivering a 50,000-volt shock. Hundreds of pieces of Black Ops technology are available for the taking. Just one more final test, and Eggsy will have the chance to follow in his father's footsteps as an elite Kingsman agent. When the final day of testing arrives, he is presented to the head of the organization, Arthur. But when asked to shoot his own dog to earn his place, Eggsy does not hesitate to throw away the opportunity. This seemingly foolish compassion results in his disqualification from the agency. Yet, he has no regrets about his decision. Just then, his mother returns home and is overjoyed to see her son. But noticing the fresh bruise on her face, he knows immediately it's the work of his stepfather. Eggsy can no longer hold back. He drives off to confront the thug. Just as he prepares to get out and teach him a lesson, his car windows suddenly lock automatically. Then, the car begins to drive itself, ignoring his controls. No matter what buttons he presses, it's useless. Soon, the car brings him to an unfamiliar neighborhood. Harry is calmly observing him through a tablet screen. Just for a dog, you gave up a great opportunity. And then you stole my boss's car, making me look like a fool. After saying that, Harry opens the door behind him, revealing a stuffed toy dog on display. It turns out he once faced a similar choice years ago, and he had pulled the trigger. Eggsy is stunned, unable to believe his ears. How could a righteous agent like Harry commit such a cruel act? The girl who drowned in the first round had only faked her death. It was all just a test of both physical and mental fortitude. Before Eggsy can fully process everything, Merlin reports an emergency. They have identified the killer of Agent Lancelot, and because of that death, the organization decided to recruit new talent to fill all 12 seats around the round table. Harry tells Eggsy to stay and wait. He has some business to handle and will return shortly, but Eggsy doesn't know that this goodbye will be their last. Harry follows the clues to a small church. It is filled with religious fanatics. Just as he is about to leave to end the investigation, a zealous female follower stops him to preach. Behind the scenes, the mysterious black director presses a button to activate a strange device. Immediately, a brain-controlling ultrasonic signal begins emitting from everyone's phone. The woman keeps talking, trying to convince Harry to sit back down, but he calmly pulls a gun from his jacket and sends her to the afterlife. That gunshot acts as a signal for war. Everyone in the church immediately erupts into a chaotic bloodbath. The out-of-control fanatics grab weapons and rush toward Harry, but he takes them all down, one by one. Not a single bullet is wasted. Every shot claims a life. When he runs out of ammo, he switches to hand-to-hand combat. Merlin tries to reach him him via comms, but it's useless. Harry has completely lost his reason. He is now nothing more than an emotionless killing machine. The 100 people in the church have become his prey. After a few minutes, Harry is the only one left standing in the church. He gradually regains his senses and stumbles out of the building. But the director has been waiting outside for a long time. "What did you do to me? I had absolutely no control over myself." The smug director reveals all his secrets. As a billionaire, he harbors a deeply twisted philosophy. He believes humanity is a virus to the earth and the world needs a global purification. So, he has distributed millions of special SIM cards for free. These SIMs emit signals that scramble the brain, making people go insane and attack one another. Only those with a special chip implanted at the base of their skull are immune to the signal. Previously, Agent Lancelot was eliminated by the director for discovering this conspiracy. With that, the director coldly raises his gun. Harry's death leaves both Merlin and Arthur in profound, painful silence. But the one most devastated is Eggsy. Because Harry was the only one who pulled him out of the gutter, he vows to avenge his mentor at any cost. Eggsy immediately returns to the Kingsman base and begs Arthur to let him inherit Harry's position so he can finish the mission and settle the blood debt. But just then, Eggsy notices a scar on Arthur's neck from a chip implant. Everything immediately becomes clear. However, he maintains his composure as if nothing is wrong. Eggsy takes the drink Arthur offers and downs it in one gulp. Seeing this, Arthur stops hiding his intentions. He pulls out a specially crafted pen that can trigger toxins remotely and admits he joined the director's scheme long ago. He was the one who leaked the intelligence that led to Harry's death. Arthur tries to persuade Eggsy to join the New World, but Eggsy flatly refuses. Finding him stubborn, Arthur immediately presses the button to trigger the poison. But strangely, Eggsy is perfectly fine, while Arthur clutches his chest in agonizing pain. It turns out that while Arthur was talking, Eggsy quietly swapped the poison drink. "You really are a smart kid." Afterward, Eggsy retrieves Arthur's phone and discovers that in just 6 hours, the director will activate the satellite to broadcast the killing signal globally. He and those with chips are hiding in a remote snowy camp, waiting for the right moment. As the new world dawns, Eggsy immediately alerts Merlin and Josie to Arthur's betrayal. The fate of the world now rests on the three of them. They quickly split into two teams. Josie is tasked with piloting a hot air balloon into the stratosphere. She uses a missile to destroy the director's signal satellite. This will temporarily disable his satellite system. Meanwhile, Eggsy and Merlin infiltrate the snowy camp. Their goal is to find a way to access the internal satellite system. Merlin hands Eggsy a suit. This is the suit Harry had custom made for him. He puts on polished black leather shoes, a luxurious watch, attaches the signature organization ring, and, of course, the stylish British glasses. Now he has officially become a true Kingsman agent. This is his first field mission. Using Arthur's identity, the plane quickly lands at the snowy base. Eggsy uses Arthur's name to deceive the guards. He successfully infiltrates the party area. He quickly spots a guest using the internal network and secretly tranquilizes him. But just as he hacks into the director's system, a cold knife is held against his throat. It's Charlie, the trainee who competed with him during recruitment. He is also serving the director's organization. With his cover blown, the director orders the final purge to be accelerated. There are only 2 minutes left until the action begins. Merlin, monitoring from the plane, immediately warns Josie, urging her to destroy the satellite quickly. Josie has reached the edge of the stratosphere, but the sudden change in temperature and pressure causes one of the balloons to explode instantly. Luckily, she manages to steady herself and continues to take aim. She finally succeeds in launching a missile, destroying one of the director's satellites and temporarily thwarting his plan. Meanwhile, Eggsy uses his electrified ring to escape Charlie's grasp. Under Merlin's remote guidance, he begins to find his way out of this labyrinthine base. He has to deal with incoming guards while dodging all sorts of heavy weaponry. But thanks to his excellent combat skills and his super resilient bulletproof suit, Eggsy quickly clears out the pursuers. Just as Merlin prepares to provide backup, he discovers that the director's satellite system has engaged its biosafety protocols, making remote infiltration impossible. The only way now is to stop the director from touching the control console. Eggsy has just set foot on the plane and hasn't even had a moment to rest when he receives this urgent news. Without hesitation, he changes his gear and leaps from the plane once more, heading straight for the director's hideout. On his way, he uses his black umbrella, which doubles as a shield and projectile weapon, clearing out groups of soldiers like grass. But before he can get too confident, a soldier with a high-tech sniper rifle appears and pierces his sacred umbrella with a single shot. In the nick of time, Eggsy pulls a grenade-shaped lighter from his pocket and tosses it into the crowd ahead. In the face of death, Eggsy remembers that all the director's followers have self-destruct chips implanted in their necks. If he can't hack the satellite system, then he'll hack the self-destruct chip system instead. The director immediately realizes someone is tampering with the system, but before he can act, Merlin initiates the self-destruct sequence. The soldiers feel a prick in their neck, and in the blink of an eye, their heads explode like firework. Everyone with a chip is unable to escape, whether it's world leaders in meetings or tycoons in luxurious banquets. All are turned into to blooming fireworks in the sky. The director goes completely insane and activates the backup satellite to restart the system. Once the signals are broadcast, the world descends once again into indiscriminate, murderous chaos. Social order begins to crumble to pieces. Just as Eggsy prepares to take down the director, he is called out by a woman in his secret chamber. It turns out to be the imprisoned princess. She promises that if Eggsy saves the world, she will reward him with the back door. Hearing this, Eggsy feels empowered with infinite strength. He picks up a rifle and quickly makes his way to the banquet hall. The director's trusted bodyguard, Camille, smashes through the glass and lunges at him like a cyclone. The sharp blade on her leg shears the rifle in Eggsy's hands in two. The two immediately engage in a breathtaking close-quarters battle. Faced with Camille's razor-like legs, Eggsy dodges flexibly, grabbing a steel pipe to block her strikes. But after just a few exchanges, the pipe is sliced through like dry wood. He throws the pipe aside and charges bravely at Camille, the two colliding violently in midair. While dodging a strike from her bladed leg, Eggsy manages to deploy the poison-tipped blade from his shoe. After rolling to his feet, he pulls out his severed necktie with a playfully annoying smile. Meanwhile, Camille's arm has been struck by the poison blade, and the toxin quickly spreads through her body. Moments later, Camille collapses and dies instantly. Eggsy retrieves the blade from her leg and hurls it straight at the director standing on the podium. The director is pierced through the heart and immediately begins his journey to the afterlife. After successfully saving the world, Eggsy calmly walks to a nearby table, grabbing a bottle of wine and 2 glasses. Merlin, watching from the plane, remarks, "I don't drink on the job." However, Eggsy heads straight to the princess's room. "Did you save the world?" "Yes, I did," as the door slowly opens. Merlin, confused, stares at the screen. The next second, oh, this city is definitely burning. In the final scene, Eggsy, in a sharp suit, enters a bar. Mimicking Harry's movements, he prepares to teach his stepfather and his gang a lesson they will never forget. The film officially ends here. I have never seen such a deranged drug lord. Just moments ago, she was happily chatting with her colleague. Yet, just because of a small argument, she casually tosses him into a meat grinder, turning him into minced meat, then pressing it into a patty right there, processing it into a steaming, fragrant hamburger. She forces the victim's brother to sit and eat it on the spot. If he can finish every last bite without leaving a morsel, he will be qualified to join the notorious Golden Circle drug cartel. Since she runs the world's largest drug network, the drug lord hides deep in the remote mountains. To pass the time in the wilderness, she keeps a handsome, tall boyfriend. And that young man is none other than Charlie. Because he was knocked unconscious by an agent from the Kingsman organization, he managed to narrowly escape death. But because of that, he lost an arm. The drug lord spent a fortune to build him a robotic arm made of vibranium. This instantly boosts Charlie's power. He decides to have a rematch with his sworn enemy. At this moment, Eggsy, having just finished his shift and preparing to go home, is suddenly held at gunpoint. Thanks to his high-tech sunglasses, he quickly recognizes that the person in front of him is Charlie. At the same time, 2 vans carrying the henchmen arrive. Yet, Eggsy remains as calm as ever. He gently reaches out to grab the door handle. After a successful infrared scan, he immediately pulls Charlie into the car. Drive! Immediately after, the two begin a chaotic fight in the moving vehicle. Eggsy uses both his hands and feet to dodge bullets while seizing the chance to grab the opponent's weapon. He uses his familiar electric ring move, but this time, it is completely ineffective. Seeing that his old trick doesn't work, he tries to shove Charlie out of the car. Unexpectedly, the guy uses his robotic arm to cling on tight. Even when Eggsy draws a gun hidden in the car to shoot, Charlie blocks the attacks easily. After all, human flesh is no match for machinery. Eggsy quickly falls into a disadvantage and is thrown out of the car after being rammed by the assassins behind. But he manages to grab the back seat, does a roll, and gets back in. He intends to use the poison-tipped blade hidden in his shoe to end the fight, but Charlie's robotic arm is truly overpowered. The nerve toxin attack spreads rapidly, killing the driver instantly. The car loses control and crashes straight into a roadside stone pillar. Charlie, caught off guard, is thrown out in an artistic tumble. At the same time, many other assassins immediately give chase. They even carry Gatling guns that spew green flames. The man madly fires at Eggsy, looking like he wants a fight to the death. Seeing the situation escalate, Eggsy immediately contacts Merlin remotely. At the same time, he lures all the assassins to a deserted park. After receiving authorization from Merlin, he doesn't hesitate to press the fire button. A missile launches straight into the sky. After locking onto the targets, it splits into 3 homing projectiles. It accurately eliminates all the pursuers, but the explosion is so loud that the police arrive immediately. Even so, Eggsy remains calm. He drives the car straight into the lake. He takes a deep breath as freezing water floods the car. The seemingly ordinary car starts to transform. The wheels turn into propellers and it speeds away. This is one of the organization's secret extraction points. Eggsy has successfully escaped danger. Despite having just gone through a brush with death, he still has more important things to do. Eggsy heads straight home, not stopping to rest, and changes into a brand new Kingsman suit, because tonight is his first time attending a family party with his girlfriend, the princess. But But little did he know, the robotic arm left in the car is about to bring a devastating blow to the Kingsman organization. Eggsy arrives at his girlfriend's palace as a guest. He even deliberately chose a friendlier, warmer-looking suit. But his future father-in-law starts grilling him with questions the moment they meet. Fortunately, Agent Roxy is supporting him from behind the scenes, using high-tech glasses to help him respond easily. But just as the two are chatting happily, Eggsy sees a desperate scene through his glasses. A missile suddenly strikes the headquarters building where Roxy is located. The entire Kingsman base is turned into ashes in the blink of an eye. Not stopping there, a second missile destroys Eggsy's own home. His beloved dog of many years is blown away on the spot. At this moment, the new leader, Arthur, is in a remote meeting with the remaining agents. But one by one, they all lose connection. By the time he realizes something is wrong, it is already too late. It's over. All Kingsman bases are destroyed at the same time. And the person behind it all is none other than the drug lord. She had obtained the locations of all Kingsman bases and members, then used cruise missiles to strike each spot precisely, completely wiping out the righteous organization. Eggsy rushes back to the Kingsman base, but before his eyes, there is only a scene of utter ruin. He immediately falls into deep despair. But just then, a familiar figure unexpectedly appears among the ruins. It turns out he is still alive. Eggsy suspects Merlin himself as the traitor, otherwise, how could he have survived? But Merlin pulls the robotic arm from his bag, the very one left behind in the car earlier. It turns out it was used to remotely hack into the organization's system and steal all of Kingsman's data. And Merlin was lucky enough to survive because he was just a logistics officer who didn't even have social insurance yet. The enemy didn't think he was worth wasting a missile on. Now, the entire organization is reduced to just the two of them. To seek revenge, they are forced to activate the Doomsday Protocol. But when they open the top-secret safe containing the organization's final ace, they are both stunned. Could the founder really have intended for them to just drink away their sorrows? They can't make sense of the situation. So, each pours a glass of whiskey to drink and commemorate their fallen comrades. In the vast, silent headquarters, now only the two of them have each other to rely on. One not skilled in fighting, the other with no one left to command. Under the influence of alcohol, they seem to temporarily forget the heavy pain. Merlin even breaks down in tears. But just then, Eggsy unexpectedly discovers a mysterious coordinate printed on the bottom of the bottle. Clearly, this is the true ace of the Doomsday Plan. Following the coordinates, the two arrive at a century-old distillery in Kentucky. Using biometric identification, they open the gates to a secret warehouse. Merlin scans with specialized equipment and discovers an entire underground complex. Just as he picks up an axe, preparing to break the camouflaged door, a cowboy suddenly appears behind them. Didn't anyone teach you to knock before coming in? The cowboy doesn't even finish his sentence before he intends to strike. But neither Eggsy nor Merlin is an easy target. Years of training make them formidable fighters. However, the opponent not only fights both of them with ease, but is also highly proficient in using agent equipment, and even knows how to use Eggsy's own watch to knock him out. Who exactly are you people? They are both tied to chairs and taken in for questioning. But the cowboy doesn't believe the story about the Kingsman organization or the so-called Doomsday Plan at all. To verify their identities, he turns on the two-way mirror behind them, and before Eggsy and Merlin's eyes is a scene that leaves them stunned. Harry, the man shot in the head 2.5 years ago, is actually still alive. What kind of crazy thing is this? Before Eggsy and Merlin can even recover, the cowboy pulls his sidearm and points it straight at Harry. He orders Eggsy to reveal their true purpose for being there, otherwise, he will count down from 1 and shoot the person standing behind the glass. At this critical moment, a woman carrying a black umbrella steps forward to stop the cowboy, because she found a Kingsman black umbrella in the federal agent's Doomsday Plan safe. It turns out they are the sibling organization to Kingsman, Statesman. Years ago, one of the Kingsman founders left England for Kentucky to establish Statesman. The two organizations share the same roots and act as each other's final insurance policy. The woman's code name is Ginger Ale, and the cowboy's code name is Tequila. The two immediately run to Harry's room, but Harry acts like a stranger, as if he doesn't recognize anyone at all. It turns out that when Harry was shot in the head, Ginger and Tequila were on a mission nearby. They accidentally detected a strange electrical signal appearing around the church. When they arrived, they discovered Harry had just stopped breathing. After confirming his identity as a Kingsman agent, Ginger immediately used a high-tech patch to prevent further brain damage and utilized nanotechnology to repair the destroyed brain tissue. Then they proceeded to restore Harry's full neurological function. Though his life was saved, the side effect was memory loss. Now, he is no longer the refined Kingsman gentleman with precise, lethal combat skills, but just a timid and gentle entomologist. After understanding the situation, Merlin decides to stay and find a way to trigger Harry's memories. As for Eggsy, he goes with Tequila to meet the head of Statesman. The old man's code name is Champagne. As a blood-related organization, Champagne agrees to dedicate all of Statesman's resources to help Eggsy avenge Kingsman. Meanwhile, Eggsy has also found a lead. Charlie's ex-girlfriend is attending a music festival. This is the only clue to track down Charlie and the organization.
organization behind him.
Therefore, Champagne sends a top agent codenamed Whiskey to support Eggsy on this mission.
The two quickly arrive at the festival site, and Whiskey gives Eggsy a mini umbrella.
It turns out the tip of the umbrella contains a nanolocator, but it needs to enter the bloodstream through a special membrane to transmit the signal.
Don't put it in her nose, right?
Of course not, pretty boy. But clearly, Whiskey is not the type of guy Charlie's ex-girlfriend liked, whereas Eggsy's youthful, attractive face makes her fall for him at first sight. Taking the opportunity, Eggsy secretly attaches the tracking device to her. At the same time, to awaken Harry's memory, Merlin decides to recreate the first test for agents. At this moment, Harry notices the floor beginning to flood uncontrollably.
This is the life or death challenge every Kingsman agent has experienced. Harry is so terrified he doesn't know what to do. Before long, the room is completely submerged by water. Merlin stands outside the two-way mirror, watching everything with concern, hoping this legendary agent will regain his memory soon.
But it seems Harry has truly forgotten all skills and experience related to being an agent. He struggles painfully in the water, making Merlin unable to watch any longer. Finally, he has to take the initiative to stop the test. Though he escapes death narrowly, Harry still firmly believes he is just an entomologist. He even prepares to pack his things to leave this place. When Eggsy returns to the base and sees this scene, a bold and risky idea flashes in his mind. Perhaps this is the only way to awaken a true Kingsman. That evening, Eggsy brings Harry a cute puppy, saying it's a farewell gift for him. But just as Harry picks up the dog, Eggsy suddenly draws his gun and points it straight at them. Harry immediately hugs the dog tightly and flees in a panic. Meanwhile, Eggsy keeps walking forward coldly, forcing Harry to choose between the life of a human or the puppy. But when looking at the puppy's innocent face, Harry still cannot make a decision. Under extreme psychological pressure, a swarm of butterflies suddenly appears flying all around him. Fragments of forgotten memories gradually begin to resurface in his mind. He sees himself taking down the thugs in the bar again, and relives the massacre in the church years ago, and the moment he was shot in the head by the drug lord. But the most haunting memory is the final test as a Kingsman trainee, when he was forced to shoot the dog that had been his companion for so many years. And the current situation is no different from that year. Harry awakens in an instant, the buried memories finally returning.
This means the Kingsman legend has truly returned.
Merlin watches them both with a look of complete satisfaction. Afterward, they go to a pub to celebrate Harry's memory recovery.
But their foreign accents quickly attract the attention of a local thug.
"Better get out of our pub before I blow out your other eye." Harry, having just regained his memory, needs to warm up his body. He walks to the door skillfully, casually closing and blocking all exits. That action immediately makes the thugs go crazy.
"Let me teach you how to behave properly."
Harry strikes first, throwing a glass from the table like a bullet straight at the opponent. But this time, the trajectory is completely off, leaving everyone stunned, not understanding what happened.
At that moment, hallucinations of butterflies appear before Harry's eyes again.
A thug takes the opportunity to sneak up and attack. The others also swarm in simultaneously. Even though the agent's fighting instinct is still there, Harry's physical condition has not fully recovered, causing him to fall into a disadvantageous group fight. Finally, the cowboy Whiskey has to step in to save him. He uses his rope skillfully like a lasso artist, causing the thugs to be defeated before they can react. Even when one pulls out a knife to risk his life, Whiskey handles it easily without difficulty. But just after dealing with the thugs, a live stream of the female drug lord appears on the TV screen. She brazenly announces an unprecedentedly crazy plan to the entire United States. As the world's largest supplier of narcotics, it turns out she had long laced all products with a specially made virus. Millions of users will go through the first stage with blue rash symptoms, the second stage with uncontrollable mania, dancing, rapping, playing basketball, and finally full-body paralysis, dying tragically within 12 hours with bleeding from all orifices. To get the antidote for humanity, they must legalize all her drug operations and grant immunity to the leaders of the Golden Circle. Faced with this blatant threat, the US president appears to agree to all demands, but in reality, he has his own calculations. On one hand, he collects evidence to destroy the Golden Circle organization. On the other hand, he orders all infected people to be concentrated in quarantine zones to let them die slowly without treatment. Fortunately, that conspiracy was discovered by the statesman agents thanks to a listening device secretly planted in the president's room.
Champagne completely opposes this inhumane behavior of the president. At that moment, Merlin and Ginger Ale also return. Through a call between Charlie and his girlfriend, they track down the location of the antidote base. Champagne immediately sends Eggsy and two others to the snowy mountain base in Italy to retrieve the antidote. They split into two teams.
Eggsy and Whiskey head to the base on the mountain peak, while Harry is in charge of the control room, preparing the escape route. Thanks to a fake identity arranged by headquarters, Eggsy quickly retrieves an antidote vial, but is discovered by the familiar enemy Charlie. Both immediately run along the prepared escape route, jumping into a cable car cabin to flee. But when they think they have safely left the base, Charlie appears in pursuit from behind and uses the central system to gain control of the cable car. The cabin begins spinning uncontrollably at a dizzying dizzying speed. The excessive acceleration causes Eggsy's eyes to turn bright red from hemorrhage. He almost faints in the cabin. Fortunately, Whiskey's rope whip has an extremely powerful electric discharge function, and he uses it to cut the cable control wire. The out-of-control cabin begins falling freely, but thanks to the cable holding it, it swings violently like a giant pendulum, finally hitting the edge of the opposite cliff. It continues sliding down the mountain, thick snow on both sides making it go faster and faster, and ahead is a crowded nursing home. Eggsy reacts quickly, pulling the emergency parachute on Whiskey, thus slowing down the cabin. Finally, the cabin stops safely in front of the porch. For the last 3 weeks, this is the smoothest landing ever. After completing the mission, the three quickly reunite in a nearby wooden hut, but the soldiers from the base also arrive immediately. Whiskey sees this and rushes to shield the two near the door, but accidentally knocks the antidote vial out of Eggsy's hand. With no time for blame, the enemy starts firing wildly at the house. The three can only hide behind the fragile wooden wall. While the enemy reloads, Whiskey orders Eggsy and Harry to provide support, while he pulls out two pistols and rushes straight in for hand-to-hand combat. As a top agent of Statesman, Whiskey's close combat skills are second to none. His dual-wielding pistol skills are god-level. The enemy falls as soon as they peek out. When he runs out of ammo, he uses his super electric whip. A tough soldier tries to rush forward with a knife, but is neutralized in a split second. But as soon as the first wave is defeated, another wave arrives, thick as ants, bringing blue flame Gatling guns. Whiskey retreats to the cabin, searching for heavy weapons in his backpack. But witnessing all this, Harry suddenly raises his gun and shoots Whiskey straight, taking him out of the game. Eggsy is stunned, unable to believe what just happened. Outside, the enemy begins another, more violent shooting spree. Eggsy cannot understand why Harry would kill his own teammate, but Harry completely ignores his fury. He calmly takes a perfume bottle from his backpack, presses the activation button, and throws it straight out of the cabin. A huge explosion follows, and everything outside falls silent. The pursuing soldiers are turned to stone like statues. Before Eggsy can think any further, he rushes to use a high-tech medical patch to stabilize the brain injury for Whiskey. But Harry insists that Whiskey is a mole, claiming he intentionally broke the antidote vial. Eggsy doesn't believe that at all. Conversely, he thinks it's the butterfly hallucinations making Harry paranoid. When Ginger Ale contacts them to ask for the situation from the command center, Eggsy, for his own interest, does not tell the truth. Instead, he reports that Whiskey was shot in the head by the enemy. Now that the only vial has been destroyed, they have no choice but to return to the mountaintop to get another one. But Charlie will not let that happen. He immediately presses the activation button, causing the entire base containing the antidote to explode into dust. All hope is wiped out in the blink of an eye. Even worse, through a video call, Eggsy discovers that his girlfriend, because she was angry at him, accidentally used the poison drug. She is now in the third stage, with full body paralysis. Fortunately, relying on the gathered information, Merlin has identified the headquarters of the Golden Circle. Time is running out, and the three of them immediately board a private jet and depart. After equipping various black tech weapons, they quickly reach the primary jungle in Cambodia. Eggsy carefully uses a mine detector to check for hidden traps, but still accidentally steps on a landmine. Merlin immediately tells Eggsy to stand still, then takes a freezing spray from the weapon crate. This can buy a few precious seconds to escape, but just as the frost melts, Merlin suddenly pushes Eggsy away and steps onto the mine himself. It turns out the spray's effectiveness is affected by the environment. In the tropical jungle, it only lasts for half a second. For the mission not to fail, Merlin decides to sacrifice himself, giving his last moments to Eggsy and Harry. Though Eggsy is unwilling, Merlin's mind is made up. He begins to sing a battle hymn, attracting all the guards at the gate. Then he looks back at his comrades one last time, and without hesitation, steps off the mine. Merlin has fallen, and with pain and anger, Eggsy and Harry begin their attack. Facing a swarm of soldiers, Eggsy throws a bowling ball grenade to Harry. Harry swings his umbrella to hit the grenade under the giant Ferris wheel, then opens his black umbrella to shield them in front. Relying on the bulletproof capability of the umbrella, they move forward through a hail of bullets. Just then, the bowling ball grenade explodes. The giant Ferris wheel collapses. Eggsy seizes the opportunity, grabs his suitcase, and opens fire, but a soldier pulls out a grenade launcher. But Eggsy calmly raises his suitcase to block. While the soldiers are dazed by the explosion, they continue their wild slaughter. Before the next wave of reinforcements, Eggsy immediately turns the suitcase into a shield. He gives each of them a black tech weapon, striking the soldiers before they can respond. The female robot fires a few shells, only for Harry's electric whip to reflect them back. After just 2.5 minutes, only the two of them are left in the square. Immediately after, they rush into the female villain's headquarters. Terrified, she hands the antidote control box to Charlie, telling him to retreat first. Eggsy immediately pursues Charlie, while Harry is blocked by the mechanical dog gazelle raised by the female villain, preventing him from advancing. Though the bulletproof umbrella is very useful, it cannot block Gazelle's metallic teeth. Knowing he cannot win, Harry quickly retreats from the room, running into another. Facing Gazelle approaching step by step, Harry knocks over a vat of molten gold solution next to him for a decisive blow. Pouring it straight over it, and on this side, Eggsy is completely no match for Charlie with his vibranium mechanical arm. Being thrown away like a doll, as Charlie leans down to pick up a bowling ball to end the fight, Eggsy activates his secret watch and smiles. It turns out that during the approach, he used the watch to hack into Charlie's mechanical system. Eggsy controls the watch to make Charlie lose his balance. Unable to bear the humiliation, he removes his mechanical arm himself. Eggsy politely gives him a chance with one arm, but eventually easily defeats his opponent. He coldly snaps his neck without hesitation. Sleep well, you fool. After dealing with Charlie, the two master and apprentice go back to find the female boss. She thinks gentlemen like them would not have the heart to strike a woman, but both do not hesitate to inject her with a double dose of poison. To preserve her life, she is forced to reveal the password for the control box. The password is, whoever reads this far is a handsome boy or beautiful girl. After saying that, she gets her boxed lunch right there. But just as Harry prepares to enter the password, a rope suddenly tightens around his neck. It turns out to be Whiskey, who had just recovered. He really did intentionally break the antidote vial, because his wife was pregnant at the time but was murdered by an addict, so he completely supports the president's approach. He wants to destroy the control box so that all addicts disappear from this world. Hearing that, Eggsy unexpectedly changes his attitude, thinking Whiskey also makes a point. But just as he lets his guard down, Eggsy uses his watch to flashbang and save Harry. The situation immediately reverses. Whiskey whips back in an instant, and Eggsy has to do an aerial somersault to avoid it. But the whip swings straight towards Harry. The electric whip is truly terrifyingly strong, fighting two alone and still not at a disadvantage. Just as Eggsy picks up his gun, it is cut in half by the whip in a blink. Harry immediately closes in, trying to grab the whip empty-handed. A risky move, but certainly not safe. Luckily, Harry's close combat skills are better. The three plunge into an intense duel. Without the whip, Whiskey gradually loses his advantage, finally being pinned by the master and apprentice onto a meat grinder. After eliminating Whiskey, Eggsy and Harry use the control box, distributing the antidote everywhere in the country, and millions of infected people are saved. The president is impeached by Parliament for his cruel policies. The head of the statesman organization, Champagne, decides to mobilize all forces to restore the reputation and mission of righteous agents, helping the Kingsman organization rebuild from scratch. Finally, in the presence of his mentor and all his comrades, Eggsy and the beautiful princess finally tie the knot. Truly, he has married a rich and beautiful girl and reached the pinnacle of his life. That's it for our Kingsman journey. Like and subscribe if you want more recap like this. Have a nice day.